Today on Grady Newsource, an update on Sunday alcohol sales.
The Athens-Clarke County Commission is set to vote on the designated Sunday for alcohol sales tomorrow afternoon. I'm Ashlyn Webb in Athens, and up next I'll tell you the preferred date that most bar owners are saying they'd like to see in 2020.
An in-depth look at how HIV is affecting our local community on World AIDS Day with reporter Marissa Hernandez. And later we'll talk to Jasmine Szilard about Athens area emergency food bank's upcoming Canathon.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good afternoon, I'm Bailey Walker and I'm joined by Jada Bowman and Isaiah Joseph. Isaiah, UGA has a big game coming up, right?
That's right. I'm talking about UGA's face-off with LSU during the SEC Championship, Georgia women's basketball, and more later with Katie Anderson.
And Jada, hopefully the weather is nice for that game this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to let you know what to expect if you plan on tailgating in Atlanta for the game.
We'll have all that and more today on Grady Newsource. And now on to our top story. Athens-Clarke County will vote on which Sunday in 2020 restaurants and bars can legally serve alcohol. Grady Newsource reporter Ashlyn Webb has more on what this could mean for Athens businesses.
There will be a positive impact, there's no question, in sales tax and in revenue.
The Athens-Clarke County Commission is set to vote on whether or not Super Bowl Sunday will be the designated Sunday for alcohol sales. The County Finance Department sent out a total of 69 surveys to bars and restaurants who do not have Sunday alcohol sales license and asked which Sunday out of the year they'd prefer to sell alcohol. Out of the 50 bars that submitted their surveys, 26 said they would prefer Super Bowl Sunday as the designated date, 8 said AthFest, 1 said Twilight, 4 said another Sunday, and 11 turned in their survey without a vote at all.
My assumption is the only purpose in having that as a designated day is because that's probably the single largest Sunday through the course of the year in which people celebrate.
But the fact that Super Bowl Sunday was chosen by local bars and restaurants isn't shocking. In 2018, Super Bowl Sunday received the most votes. In 2017, the majority selected New Year's Eve, and in 2019, St. Patrick's Day.
It's kind of an uphill battle. It's also a little different because Sundays are Sundays in the South. You know, people kind of don't look at Sundays as a party day.
Gerard Miller has been the general manager of Jersey Sports Bar for the last 8 years and has seen the impact Sundays have had on business. Miller says the fact that the Atlanta Falcons are not going to be in the Super Bowl will affect turnout.
It's not a local team. They just do house parties and things of that nature. They don't really, Super Bowl has become like a regional kind of thing.
Despite this, Miller says their doors will be open. David Bradley, the Athens Area Chamber of Commerce president, says it's bound to be beneficial for downtown businesses.
A year or two down the road and we'll realize there's been no negative impact and the only impact is you have a little bit higher restaurant sales and higher sales tax.
How much of an impact it's going to make and has made since 2017 isn't exactly known.
It's not something that we have kept records on.
And County Finance Director David Boyd says the county doesn't keep tabs on the impact either. He says they also don't track if bars or restaurants decide to open their doors on that designated Sunday.
Is it worth opening up at 10 o'clock if you're going to serve 15 or 20 beers? Maybe not.
Bradley says it's ultimately up to bar and restaurant owners on whether or not it's worth opening their doors for just one Sunday out of the year. In Athens-Clarke County, Ashlyn Webb, Grady Newsource.
The commission will vote on the designated Sunday tomorrow at 6 p.m. in City Hall. When most think of what a sheriff's office does for the community, promoting safety and protecting their citizens comes to mind. However, a lieutenant here at Barrow County Sheriff's Office takes his service to the community a step further. Grady Newsource reporter Katie Anderson has more.
Lieutenant Tim Lotterell is very active in the community. He helps fundraise for and participates in the 2-week summer camp program Play, participating in the lives of area youth, a program designated to give youth in the community a mentor.
What we do is I have the SROs in the county identify students who could use extra help, whether that's extra mentoring, just that father figure, that person that they respect in the other than their mom and dad, and we take them for 2 weeks, completely free for them.
Lieutenant Lotterell explained that the group goes hiking and camping around the state. They work on self-confidence and learning that life is more than just what they're going through right now. Lotteral is an avid fisher and enjoys teaching the boys in the program. Some still ask him to go fishing after the trip. The play program started back in 2004 by a school resource officer named Bill Minish. Minish works in the school system and helps identify kids that are suited for the program, ones he thinks that could need a little extra help. While Minish did start the program, he attributes a lot of its success to Lotteral.
Tim pretty much put together all the fundraisers, and he's the one that's provided the money over the years, and without Tim, that program wouldn't exist. It really, and he's the guy.
Minish said Lieutenant Lotteral has raised enough money to keep the program running for 6 or 7 more years. When asked what made him want to be such a big part of this program, Lieutenant Lotteral had a simple answer.
So just helping the kids, that's what we've always, that's what I've always wanted to do.
Katie Anderson, Grady Newsource.
If you're a fall graduate of UGA, you can look forward to hearing from Regent Kessel D. Stelling Jr. He will be the speaker for the undergraduate commencement ceremony on December 13th. Stelling is the chairman and CEO of Synovus Financial Corporation and serves on the Georgia Board of Regents. The student speaker will be Taylor Maggiore, a journalism and sports media student. If you're attending the grad school commencement, the speaker at that ceremony will be Libby V. Morris, director of UGA's Institute of Higher Education. And don't forget when you're inviting all your family members that clear bag policy will be in effect. Approximately 37.9 million people are living with HIV or AIDS across the globe. Reporter Marissa Hernandez took time to find out more about HIV and AIDS awareness on the local level. She joins us now at the Smart Board. Marissa?
Thanks, Bailey. Georgia has a relatively high rate of HIV diagnosis. Research presented by Emory University estimates that approximately 51,350 people are currently living with HIV in the state of Georgia. And HIV.gov states that 1 in 7 people don't even know they're infected. While numbers have decreased over time, the misconceptions surrounding HIV are much the same. So what is HIV? HIV and AIDS are not equivalent. HIV stands for human immunodeficiency virus, whereas AIDS stands for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is a late-stage HIV infection that occurs when the immune system is damaged by the virus. While HIV can be more prominent in certain groups, such as minority and LGBT individuals, it is recommended that everyone get tested at least once. Earlier today, I was able to learn a bit more from the Northeast Department of Public Health, who are raising awareness for World AIDS Day. World AIDS Day helps educate about HIV and AIDS. All of this week, Athens-Clarke County is holding free testing. Today, testing was held outside of Walgreens off of Hawthorne Avenue, where I myself got tested. The process is simple. It actually takes less than a few minutes in total. You have some blood taken, which is tested for antibodies, which your body would produce if you had been infected with HIV. In Athens-Clarke County, 320 out of every 100,000 individuals are living with HIV, according to research done by Emory University. While there is no cure, HIV is treatable with medicine, which is why testing is so important. Marissa Hernandez, Grady Newsource.
Thanks, Marissa. Tomorrow, free testing will take place at Russell Hall on South Finley Street. Join us after the break as Jasmine Szilard tells us why the Athens Food Bank is hoping to find people who are in the giving mood this season. Giving their time, that is.
Hello.
Hi, I'm from Blue Hill Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning.
Again?
Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on in.
Brochettes with sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, you know, they're the end pieces of the zucchini, and they're the cores that we cut away, not to mention zucchini flour. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that, oh.
Again?
I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
We'll have a little zucchini stem pasta, a different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit SaveTheFood.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Laughing too hard at one of your colleagues' jokes at the office party? He's not even funny. Warning sign, Those drinks are probably going to your head. Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Tis the season of giving. This Friday marks the 39th annual Can-a-thon at the Athens Area Emergency Food Bank. Athens Clark County Schools, along with other donors, have been collecting cans for the last month. Grady Newsource reporter Jasmine Szilard is live at the food bank. Jasmine, can you tell me a little bit about what residents can expect?
I am here at the Athens Area Emergency Food Bank, also known as the AAEFB, where this Friday an expected 15 tons will be rolling in, and volunteers will be here sorting through all of the donations. The AAEFB is an agency that provides families living in Athens a week worth of groceries. Canned, boxed, and cold foods are included in the packages. For the month of November, students have been collecting canned goods to donate to the food bank. Director Kim Ramos explains how Can-a-thon happens.
Can-a-thon is our biggest event of the year. Can-a-thon happens every year on the first Friday of December.
The goods provided are intended to stock the food bank for the next year. Ramos expects there to be at least 15 tons of canned goods provided. In addition to students donating, Karen Snook, a member of Covenant Presbyterian Church, collects and donates to AAEFB every Monday.
We collect food every month, different things, whatever the food bank needs, we collect.
While donations are always accepted, Ramos wants people to know that they need volunteers to help sort through the food.
What we really need right now are volunteers for Friday. On Friday, there will be, like I said, somewhere around 15 tons of food, and it has to get sorted all in one day and put into our scheme so that we can resume operations Monday.
Can-a-thon will begin at 9:30 a.m. and will remain open until 6 in the evening. Any help is appreciated, whether it's a few minutes or a few hours.
It's a pretty big deal.
Jasmine Szilard, Grady Newsource.
Today marks the first day of the UN Climate Change Conference in Madrid, Spain. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres spoke to reporters ahead of the event with a warning. The Earth is nearing the point of no return, but says, quote, "My message here is one of hope, not despair." Going on to say it's possible to end climate change with accountability, responsibility, and leadership. The conference will last until December 13th, and one of the main points of discussion will be the world's oceans. Warmer temperatures are resulting in rising sea levels, impacting coastal cities as well as marine life. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi is leading the U.S. delegation in Madrid. Here she is talking about the conference.
It's a privilege to lead this very distinguished congressional delegation from the House and the Senate to continue this crucial conversation. By coming here, we want to say to everyone, we're still in. The United States is still in.
The Trump administration is not expected to be in attendance after the U.S. began formal measures to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord several weeks ago. Over the next week, you can expect to hear more about next steps to combat climate change and carrying out the Paris Climate Accords. After the break, Grady Newsource reporters Isaiah Joseph and Katie Anderson will take a look into this weekend's SEC Championship matchup.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
And now, sports.
Hi, I'm Isaiah Joseph here with your latest sports, and today's top story is this weekend's SEC Championship matchup. And I'm here joined with Grady Newsource reporter Katie Anderson to talk more about it. Katie, I would say that UJ football's performance versus Georgia Tech this weekend was to be as expected. They dominated and ended up winning 52-7, and I think their offense finally found a rhythm, especially in the second half.
Yeah, Isaiah, quarterback Jake Fromm threw 4 touchdowns and 254 yards, and the team gained 219 yards on the ground. But it wasn't all smooth sailing, especially in the third quarter. We had DeAndre Swift with a shoulder injury, and George Pickens was ejected for fighting, which could really affect next week's matchup.
Yeah, George Pickens' ejection will keep him out of the first half of next week's matchup. And Pickens currently leads the team with 498 receiving yards, just ahead of Lawrence Cager, who will also be missing next week's game with his ankle injury. So, and then as far as DeAndre Swift goes, Coach Kirby Smart said that he is hopeful that he'll be able to play this weekend. So we'll see about that.
Well, Georgia will have to look to their other wide receivers like Demetrius Robertson, Dominic Blaylock, Kyrus Jackson, and Tyler Simmons to help fill that void during the first half.
For sure. In fact, senior Tyler Simmons said that he will use his role as the older wide receiver to kind of help the younger wide receivers ahead of this matchup.
Like you said, I'm the oldest guy in the room. I have the most experience. So it's up to me to put myself on a higher pedestal and try to bring those young guys with me.
Well, Tyler Simmons had a pretty big showing last week versus Tech. He led the team that game with receiving yards with 52 yards and 1 touchdown. So Georgia will be looking to use more of that on Saturday.
Yeah, and then on the defensive side, Georgia might be the best defense that LSU has faced all season. So that'll be a very exciting matchup.
Well, and Coach Kirby Smart had nothing but praise for LSU's offense.
But this obviously will be the ultimate test. Best offensive unit we played all the way around, really not even close.
Yeah, Joe Burrow has been playing lights out, but so has Georgia's defense, so that should be a great matchup. The SEC Championship game will air on CBS this Saturday at 4:00 p.m. The Lady Bulldogs basketball team had an exciting Thanksgiving break this week in their Daytona Beach Invitational in Florida.
Yeah, Isaiah, the women's basketball team took on Butler for the first time ever and had a very successful game with a 69-36 win.
For sure. Maya Caldwell, a junior center for Georgia, scored 17 points. And then UJ's defense held Butler, a team that has averaged around 72.6 points per game, to a season low of 36 points.
Well, and the Bulldogs kept that energy going Saturday afternoon against Virginia Tech and had their third straight win, 77-72.
Yeah. And then the Dogs had 3 players to score in double digits.
Well, and the team is going to travel to Texas Wednesday to take on number 2 Baylor, which is going to be a great game to watch.
Thanks, Katie. It will definitely be a great game.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now on to some other sports news. UGA women's volleyball team will be headed across the country to play Cal Poly after earning an at-large bid to compete in the 64-team NCAA Division I tournament. But what does an at-large bid mean? Well, this bid gives the Bulldogs as well as 32 other teams the ability to compete in the postseason tournament, even though they didn't win their conference championship. The selection committee came together and chose these additional teams because they felt that these teams played well enough during the regular season to compete in the tournament. Georgia's first round matchup will take place Friday, December 6th at 7:30 p.m.
Hi, I'm Jada Bowman, and I'll bring you today's weather forecast as well as the SEC Championship game day forecast. Stay tuned.
Thank
in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
I love you.
Can we get strawberries?
Okay.
And now, the weather.
Good afternoon. I'm here today with your weather report. My name is Jada Bowman, and today we'll be going over this week's forecast as well as the SEC Championship game day forecast. So today we're seeing a high of 50 degrees. It's pretty sunny outside, so it should be a beautiful day. We have 15 miles per hour going with our wind, with gusts of wind as high as 20 miles per hour, so it may be advisable to put on a jacket today. It could get a little chilly. So this evening, we're looking at temperatures averaging around 40 degrees, with its lowest being at 35 degrees at midnight tonight. So let's look at our overnight temperatures in Georgia. So we have 32 degrees in Chattanooga, Atlanta, Athens, and Greenville. We're at 30 degrees in Rome, 27 in Blairsville, 31 in Gainesville and Toccoa, and 34 in Augusta. So here's the forecast for tomorrow. The high will reach 54 degrees, mostly sunny day, so it should be pretty warm, with winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And we also have the 5-day forecast. We have our temperatures averaging around 60 degrees, with our lowest being 37 on Wednesday. So here we have our SEC Championship game day forecast. So we're seeing a high of 57 degrees. It should be mostly sunny with winds around 5 miles per hour. I'm not sure that that would matter much, being that people might be in the stadium, but it should be a beautiful day. My name is Jada Bowman, Grady Newsource.
Coming up, Georgia Power gives tips to help prepare for upcoming cold temperatures, and Mary Frances Early gets honorary recognition.
I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in! Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Attention travelers, next Tuesday a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city.
Food, water, and phone service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
This week, Georgia Power is helping people prepare for the cold weather with its annual winter weather preparedness campaign. They're making videos with weather preparedness tips for each day of the week. Georgia Power also has tips on how to save money and energy during the cold winter months. Some tips include keeping the blinds and shades open during the day to heat your home, and close the shades at night to reduce coolness. Also, increase the efficiency of your units by changing the filters once a month. And lastly, replace cracked or peeling caulk or weather stripping around doors and windows, which could save you 10% on energy use. You can find more information on how to stay prepared for the winter weather on Georgia Power's website. Mary Frances Early was the first African American student to graduate from UGA, and today she was honored by Atlanta City Council. They recognized her role in helping to integrate the university, as well as her accomplishments in education since graduating in 1962. Early will be honored again in February with an official ceremony to name UGA's College of Education after her. I'm Bailey Walker.
I'm Isaiah Joseph.
And I'm Jada Bowman. Have a great day.
Signing off for the final Monday-Wednesday class for Grady Newsource. Thanks for watching.
Is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
I love it.
Travel sites. And booking all your flights with those
vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like, aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
This is the Grady Newsource post-show critique.
3 months in, I still don't know how to put on
Okay, last one, we did it. Today was such an easy day. Everybody found their stride, and I thought everybody did what they do best today, and I think we had a really good, solid show today. So good job to everybody. Congratulations. I love the paper throw at the end. I thought that was a nice little incorporation, so good job for that. I directed today. It was my last time directing ever, so yeah, and you guys are also my last class ever. You're also my first, but but yeah, I just wanted to say before I let y'all talk and everything, just thanks for making everything go so smoothly this semester. I never had anything bad to say about you guys. There's never anything I had to break up between like the other side and y'all, so thank you for that. And yeah, everybody here is gonna do great things. So yeah.
And what are the great things? Where are you headed?
We don't know. We don't know. Stay tuned.
Well,
but yeah, good job, everybody.
Thank you. We're so grateful. And I think for everybody watching us, they need to know that all of you are volunteers, and you came here on your own time in addition to studying to help us, and you're just so professional. And I think we should all, you know, be very grateful and give you a hand. And for a job very well done. So you're absolutely prepared. After you dealt with us, nothing can scare you. You can just about handle anything. Exactly. Because we were nice to you today, but we haven't been on time. We have really challenged you. So
look, we all got here, and we made it.
But
so
think
good
of
job
it
to
as
everybody.
Learning experience.
I have to say too, Will and I have kind of been here together since the beginning, and just like how grateful I am for you and like our time here together, and how hard you work on this show. Every single day you come in here with the best attitude, and it's appreciated more than you. Thanks.
We really appreciate it, and can't wait to see the sequel where you end up.
Stay tuned. All right, but yeah, y'all talk, whatever, do your thing.
Well, I don't know. I miss you guys already. I don't believe this is our last show. I have to say that I consider myself extremely lucky to have had such a wonderful group of people, talented, kind, intelligent, can-do, willing to go the extra mile, creative. I can go on with the most effusive praise for you guys, but you have spoiled me. You have raised the bar, and whoever comes after you, they've got huge shoes to fill, and I thank you very much. And I hope that, you know, you've learned something that will help you in real life, and I hope you stay in touch, because I know each and every one of you will do wonderful things, and I can't wait to see where you end up, and my door is always open. And I'm just kind of a little bit out of words at this moment. Wangeshi, thank you for this wonderful, your one and only show as producer. Thank you for going for a live. I know I pushed you on it. Jazz, where's Jazz? Thank you. It was a great live. I love the way you figured out where to stand. That was great, because you weren't hiding yeah. And it was, you know, it was a great idea. It was a very good, you know, a good thing to do live and to help our community, to show how other people can help our community. Ashlyn, you made our top story. We were struggling a little bit. I love the innovation. I love I mean, that was the best stand-up, I think, so far. With, yeah, it was stand-up with a graphic, and it was very well shot. I liked the way you had several angles of the same interview. There was one side angle of the guy speaking, and there was one with you talking to him, and then he talking in a single shot. And I really liked all the innovation that went into it. And you know, this is just one example of how a lot of you have been great reporters, even though you're still learning. You just looked at the agenda of the commission and you found that nugget, interesting story. You thought it would be news, and it turned out to be news, and it even turned out to be more interesting than you thought it would be. because you were able to rustle up not one, not two, but 3 sources. And I just, that made our show, you know, it made the top of our show, you gave us a good stand-up for the pre-show tease as well, and I thank you for that. And I thought our producer did a great job with ordering the show. She even had backups. She even did some innovation. Till the last moment, you guys innovated. The way the anchors introduced themselves was very interesting. It was different. We hadn't done it that way, so that we had more of an interaction between the 3 anchors on the set, and yet we maintained our anchor, the person who is leading this show. So I really thought that worked out very well. And you timed the show very well. We were able to run 1 profile. We tried for 2. I like the way you used the profile in the A block, that, you know, the stories went very well with each other. Having a B block live, I don't think we've done a B block live. It's usually taped. So that was interesting as well. And the live shot didn't fail us, you know. Jazz was there. She could hear us. We could hear you. The only thing was, that's on me. Bailey came to me in the middle of when I was approving another script and I was in another land, where she said, you know, Professor V, could I just not say thank you to Jasmine? And I said, oh, sure, I don't like tags anyway. And then when I saw it, I realized it's a live show.
No, it's not your...
So it's my, because...
I asked you if I could just say thanks, Jasmine, and just cut the sentence after because I didn't like it. And so I was like, okay, I'll just say thanks, Jasmine. And then I realized when we were down there, and thank you so much, Swangeshi, for like figuring that out super last minute. I appreciate it very much.
But it was a little odd that we didn't go back to her to do her tag and to get and to toss back to you. That was awkward.
Right.
That's done when a live shot fails during a package. You don't go back to the reporter because but we needed to go back, and that's on me because I was distracted by approving another script.
But so when it's just
I didn't realize what you were asking me.
Well, it was just like live me saying thanks, Jasmine, and then going into playback, and I felt like that would just be horrible. Like, just like I'm saying 2 words and then jump back into playback. So
yeah,
I mean,
but
even me as
it was not a big
producer,
thing. It's not, but just in the future when you're producing a live show with lives, I wanted you to know that, you know, that could happen, but when things go wrong. So that you don't go to a reporter who can't hear you or whatever. But usually it has to be handed back. You've gone outside and you have to come back inside the studio. Always think about choreography, you know, and continuity, which you did very well. You know, you went from one story to the other. You thought about things. Same in sports. I really loved, no surprise there, what you guys did. And you thought of the choreography and how to weave things, you know, how for him to introduce you. We worked a little bit on that, and then how for him to continue on a single shot. You know, you were both of you were in the studio, and then going back to you, and you continuing to lead the sports coverage. I loved what you did, the Q&A, because that would have been a difficult story visually to do, but with one person just reading it, because you don't have that much video to cover it. So you guys going to the press conference, getting a soundbite, it was just a wonderful, you know, Q&A with a soundbite. There was a lot of variety. It was very interesting, very engaging, even for people like me who don't know much about sports. I was interested. You guys made me interested in it because both of you enjoyed what you were doing. You could feel it, and both of you knew your stuff. And the same goes for you, Bailey. You knew your stuff. You'd done some great readers, but I could tell as an anchor you were in control because you knew what each story was about, and you had the right tone. You varied, you know, your pacing, the way you presented things. You were an interesting anchor, and at every point in the show you were in control, and you were authentic to what the content said. And that was, it was just a wonderful last show, from production to anchoring to everything. All the digital things that we did were also very interesting, very newsy. You gave people a lot of ideas, and all of you brainstormed. And I think one of my favorite innovations, which I don't think we'd done, was a hybrid smartboard package. And it came together, Marissa. That was a first. I don't know, maybe other stations have done it, but it was such a great idea. You came up with this very important story, the AIDS Day story, and then you guys came up with, why don't you go and get tested? And you were brave enough to show people that it's okay and it should be done. And I don't know if you realize how important what you did, how important that was for other people, because everybody, I'm sure you felt kind of, oh, you know, should I get tested or not? It's something that people don't do easily, and it's so important for people to do so that they don't infect others, so that they can get early treatment and don't develop full-blown AIDS, which, so I just thought that was very courageous, that was very creative, and that showed till the very last day and very last show what an amazing team of generous, creative people all of you have been throughout. Each and every one of you helped other people with, you know, Ashlyn would always whip up a contact, always come up. I mean, everybody came with, you know, wanted to make the other person look better and never lose that. Yes, it's a competitive business. Yes, you want to stand out. But you guys stood out and made every other person stand out with your generosity. And to the very last day, you continued to do this. And that's why our shows kept getting better and better. Just think of how we started. Katie, do you remember how you cried? Just think of, you know, how difficult it was. And I really want to hear from you, because she was our first producer. You were, oh, that's right. And but that was the first live producing was Katie. And well, actually, she didn't cry in front of me. I didn't know that. She owned up to me the next day that she had almost not returned. She told her mom, "I'm just not going back there." Because, and you would never have, I would never have guessed that, because on Wednesday you had that big smile and you were in control and you were actually enjoying yourself producing. I don't know how that happened in the meantime, but this is where we started. I just wanted you to know, to be so proud of yourselves, where you started. Some of you didn't know how to write a package, you know, like I told Julia, so you're going to write a package? She said, sure, I'm going to write a package. And then I realized that she didn't know what a package was. And now she's like whipping them those packages and everything. So how much you've grown, each and every one of you. Of course, because you're so talented. But I'm just so proud of you and so impressed, because I've put you through, you know, I was tough on you. And you had to try each and every one of these roles in a newsroom, and not everyone is good and comfortable with these roles. One of my supervisors from CNN came here to give her daughter a tour, and she surprised me because I didn't know that she was a Grady grad. And she said, you know, Relitza, this is the place where I discovered that I hate anchoring, and I will never anchor in my life. I said, well, that's why I was your anchor and you became my boss. But you know, she said how valuable that was for her, even though she didn't like it. For her to have that experience and to know what she didn't like was so important to her. So I just wanted to apologize for that we put you through all kinds of roles that made you cry or whatever, but knowing what you're not that comfortable with is so important, so you focus on what's important and what is your talent. And so I hope that that makes sense, and you know, you accept my apology for us putting you through all these roles, but I strongly believe that you will benefit from it. And now I will stop talking, and I will, Ongeshi, you tell us, how did this day, your one and only producing day, go? I thought it went very, very well.
It was great, honestly. Like, Really enjoyed it because you guys made it so like easy to do. Y'all were so experienced with everything at this point. It was not like difficult for me at all to kind of order the like scripts around and tweak people's scripts and stuff because everything was already so well mastered at this point. Like it took little from me on my
Yeah, we've
part.
mastered it all and we've got things going and it's our last show. But that was our goal, to come to this point where we are just functioning as a regular newsroom. Everybody knows how to work with the rest and what our strengths are and how we do things. And that was our goal, and I think we succeeded with flying colors. As I said, you guys have raised the bar. You were my first. I'd never taught this course. I'd never taught students before, and thank you for spoiling me. And but anyway, I promise to stop talking, and I can't stop bragging about you. Peyton.
Me. I need a mic. Thank you. So I have to give shout outs to the most amazing digital team today. Y'all did so good. Wellesley, your story was everything. I loved it. It was so well put together, and you had all of the graphics, and it was just everything I wanted it to be. I loved it. Thank you so much for working so hard today. Paige, I know your stuff hasn't gone up yet, but I'm very, very excited for it, and I'm excited for everyone at home watching to see it very soon. It was so good, and I feel like it's one of the coolest innovations that we're going to have thus far. So, and then Taylor, your story was incredible. So much research went into it, and it was so neat to see how it formed throughout the day and how hard you worked on it. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
And you helped her focus it also.
I mean, I tried.
Yeah, and it was so newsworthy because we were struggling with news, and she came up with something which was newsworthy.
Yeah.
And something that she has a passion for.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy, but she, did
it.
some good reporting on it and found interesting things that we didn't know about, because a lot has been said about Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
And she found things that I hadn't heard, you know.
I was learning things.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
was a fun part of doing
It came together very well. And Wellesley also, I really enjoyed reading and copy editing. It didn't need much copy editing. Both of you didn't need much copy editing.
And we got 2 stories up today, and then we got 2 social media posts up today. One to tease Marissa's story, and then another to tease Wellesley's story. So I think we did pretty good today. It was a good digital day.
Very good, very productive.
Yeah, we tried. It was good. We did good. Content-wise?
Yes, please. Julia.
I think we did well. And I think everyone did a good job with working together and helping each other out. Yeah, so I don't really have anything else.
Thank you for writing all these readers and helping us out.
Julia helped me so much today. Like every 30 seconds, I was like, Julia, can you vote about Julia? Can you go check on this person? Can you do this? Can you do that? And because she was also producer before, she was not only helping with like her stuff, but also guiding me as I was learning like how to be a producer. So thank you so much, Julia. You're amazing. Like I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without Julia. So.
As we were getting ready to go down there, you were super helpful with like putting out scripts and stuff. I really appreciated that. So I had everything laid out.
And Bailey, the anchoring, how was it for you?
It was good. I made sure to be prepared throughout the day, since that's kind of been an issue like at certain points in the past, like the prompter fails or something like that happens that's kind of out of our control. So that helped a lot. I read through everything like a bajillion times before I went down there, so I think that helped a lot with like delivery. Just making sure I knew which camera I was supposed to be looking at.
And you did it, and we really changed cameras. That was another innovation.
Yeah.
And I know that
one guy she said today, she was like, "Are you good with like changing cameras?" I was like, "Yeah." And then I looked at it, and I was like, "That's a lot of camera changes." And so I was like, "Okay, like let me really like sit down and make sure I know what I'm doing."
But the show looked.
But I think it looked really good.
Yes. So much. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it again at home. And see, but I think it made a huge difference.
Yeah, Bailey, you did a great job catching those.
And it was a great idea that you had to to change cameras and strategize and think about how the show, what the whole look of the show would be, so that we don't have repetitive, monotonous reading from the same camera.
Right.
It changed the pace, and I think it helped you with your delivery to change the tone, to change the subject.
When you're like physically changing and like
Exactly.
looking somewhere else, that like it sounds dumb, but it did help a lot with like I'm changing from like a story about like some like happy story to like something about like AIDS and HIV awareness. So I liked that a lot. And then I would say too, kind of like this, it's the same thing with like producing, but just like knowing the show and knowing the flow of everything, that was helpful today too.
So,
can I give, sorry,
yes, of course.
Don't want to forget, like, a very big shout out to Brittany. Like, they're hiding.
Oh, my, she's still
So, she's just so amazing. And, like, you know, she's always out here helping us and stuff with whatever we need, whatever random thing it may be. But, like, in the control room, she's a boss. Like, she catches everything in there. And it was so helpful. And we were floating a lot of stuff so that she'd make sure things are getting refreshed and, like, that I don't forget to check on something else. So, thank you, Brittany.
Yeah, thank you, Brittany, because this is the most difficult thing. Live air is the most difficult thing, nerve-wracking thing, especially for someone who has never produced. And having you there was really very helpful and gave people the confidence and the courage to handle live air. And you've saved quite a few imminent disasters, and I thank you for that as well. And I'm glad that you stayed, because usually we don't have a chance to thank you. And I'm glad that you stayed hiding there. Would you like to say something, share some thoughts?
Well, I just want to say that I
always
feel
coming
super
through.
lucky that I got to work with all of you. This was my first time being a TA for Grady Newsource too. And just kind of like we've touched on, I mean, I've been so inspired by y'all's creativity and following topics that you're passionate about, whether it was the entertainment blocks or the political or the sports. And yeah, I just hope y'all are all proud of yourselves. I'm super proud, and your ability to support one another and be there in the most stressful times. I mean, super impressed by that. So I think everyone did a great job this semester.
If there's one thing that, and thank you, Brittany, if there's one thing that you guys learned, something very valuable that you want to share with us, go ahead and share. I mean, what was the thing that you learned the most, or what was the most difficult lesson you learned?
It's nothing big, but like, so today when I went, and there was like nobody, I really wanted to show the process of it happening, and like nobody was there, so I was like, I guess I'll do it myself. And I think at the beginning of the semester, I probably would have just called it a day and been like, well, I'll find something else to fill that little block with. But today, I don't know, I was like, you know what, if I really want it to look good, then I got to try a little bit harder. And I ended up doing it myself, which I think is something that I learned, because like at the beginning, I probably would have tried to find a substitute instead of just like pushing myself to do that. So I would say that's what I've learned.
And that is very, very important. Anybody else wants to share? Share. Or just share the most interesting memory, the most impressive, you know, it's just a special moment, something that you will never forget, or just...
Well, I'll just say something about myself that I think other people might struggle with too in the future. It's just like...
And that is, I have to say, so unusual, because she is, you know, so modest. And for her to say, I want to say something about myself, is very
well,
interesting.
it's not good.
So that must have been, she finally learned to speak up for herself. Go ahead, Jade, I'm
you can be your
joking.
own worst enemy. I think just for myself, just being super nervous and like self-doubting, it can come off. And I found like I do better when I'm more confident in what I'm doing. It's fine to like go into things like not knowing, but it is also good to have people around you who can say like, come on, Jada, like you got this. And I like have made so many friends in here that have spoke so highly of me, and you guys really like push me to be the best me, and I just want to say thank you.
And you did a great job with the weather. I know that you were scared of it. I know that.
The 1 minute was a lot better, I promise. But it was a challenge. I didn't know that it was going to be that much of a challenge. Everybody was like, yeah, it's hard. Ad-libbing the whole time and trying not to say the wrong thing. I was like, what is going on?
A lot of temperatures and numbers.
Yeah, I don't think weather's for me, but I'm one of those people, like, I am thankful that I had the experience. I'm thankful for trying out different roles that I'm not good at.
So what is your favorite role? What did you find? Were you surprised by a role that you didn't think you were good at or didn't like, and you found that you did? Or
I think towards the end, I really liked being a TV MMJ, even though I kind of wanted more chances to like try the anchoring roles, which is why I got them like kind of later on. But I like being a reporter. I think it's fun going out and talking to people and kind of piecing it all together. That is a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest privilege of our profession, that your job opens people's doors and they open their door and their lives to you and tell you things that they would only tell their friends or the closest people around them. And that is just quite a privilege that I've always treasured in our profession. So
I don't know. I guess that's it, though. You guys are wonderful. Thank you guys for being so great.
Okay. I just remember, I'm pretty sure it was like the first mock show, and Wellesley and I were driving somewhere to do a story, and we were both so stressed out. And I remember us both saying, do you think it gets any easier? Like, do you think we'll ever learn how to do this? Or are we going to feel like this every day? And I just remember Paige being freaked out too that day. And so, you know, we did it. We figured out how to do it. And I'm just proud of everybody. And Jada, your weather was good. Don't be hard on yourself. So, yeah, everybody did a really good job. So I'm just proud of everyone.
We put him on the spot.
Yeah. As far as something that I've learned, I guess this semester, it's really just challenging yourself to like do more than I guess you originally thought you were going to do or what you can do. It's like you don't really know how much you can do until you're pushed to do it. I definitely learned that this semester. Also, yeah, I think Jada said it, like just being confident in what you're doing, that helps. So I guess that comes with preparation before or just doing what you love. You know, when you're doing what you love, you're more confident in it. And I tend to like put a better product out when I'm doing something I'm confident in. So I think those are two things that I learned. And I think another thing too is like being in front of camera. Like when I first started the class, I didn't want to be in front of camera at all.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're such a natural.
Yeah, I didn't want to do any of that. I was always been the behind the scenes kind of person, like, you know, all of that. So I remember in the first class you asked, like, you know, what do you want to do? I didn't say anything involving being in front of camera. Yeah. But now I actually found to like that, and I actually want to keep practicing and getting better at that. But yeah, and then you guys have been a great class, and I always talk about it like for other people, like Grady Newsource, like my class, like they're really cool. I'm the only guy, but like it's y'all have been like really welcoming and cool. So.
We weren't that intimidating.
I was kind of the same way about like being on camera, and then I've slowly warmed up to it, and I felt reasonably comfortable doing it today. So that was one thing that was cool to see this semester. And I've also never done local news before. Like all my internships have been like state and national stuff. So that was probably like the biggest takeaway for me, is like getting to serve your community with this coverage. I know we talk about Peyton all the time with her coverage of Jackson County schools, but it's really amazing, and it just, like, you get so many emails from people, like, thanking you for doing the coverage that you do, and that's always a great reminder, but it feels really good to get to do that for the people.
Yeah, you feel the real impact of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that is something new to me, because I also came from a global perspective, and even though the things that we do globally are very important, but you don't really feel how it impacts real people on the ground, living amongst you as it does with. I really, really enjoyed that aspect. Are we out of time?
We are out of time.
Bye. Bye, and thank
For
you
the
for your
last
support.
time. That's it. That's our show.
Wherever we look. Where do you
They're
look?
not going to throw their papers again.